Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary or the SITREP for the day of 820 for the 23rd of May. We're going to start off with the Kharkiv front. And before we go there, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported yet another Russian Sukhoi 25 getting destroyed. However, this is not mentioned by the Ukrainian Air Force. Ukrainian Air Force Telegram channel did not mention any shootdown of Russian planes. So anyway, it is what it is. Over at the Kharkiv front, the Russian forces are still on their Kharkiv offensive. However, the entire Lipsy sector went quiet. There is no reports over here. However, interestingly, we do have some reports over at this Hotivka sector. There is a geolocation of Ukrainian forces getting bombarded by Russian artillery. And interestingly also is that the geolocation of these Ukrainian forces is indeed still outside of this previously claimed to be captured by Russian forces Hotivka. The bombardment is at Tokarivka. So we will continue to wait and monitor and see, if we can get some clarity regarding this Hotivka situation. As mentioned, there's nothing over at Lipsy. There's nothing over at Neshkushny as well. Fighting is now predominantly over the Staromaiorske sector as well as the Vovchansk sector. At the Staromaiorske sector, we have fighting reported at Staromaiorske according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Whereas, and that's about it. Over at this Vovchansk, the Battle of Vovchansk continue with fighting being reported by Deep State UA and Ryba. So latest frontline in terms of the changes has seemed to show that the Russians have now taken a bit more control around this southern part of this central part of Vovchansk, and based on Russian mapping, they claim to have firm control over on this eastern part of this eastern regions of Vovchansk. So Ukrainian forces have this salient over here, and are probably able to cross through this bridge. This important bridge around here. This is the bridge that they are probably using. The entire region south, this entire area here is currently gray zone, largely gray zone, because it's mainly because it's just across the river. The Ukrainians are on the other side. It's just a bit difficult, I guess, to be there. And I saw a comment saying that they don't know about the river, and I find it a bit triggering because which means that you didn't watch every single video. So there is a river here, the Vovchansk river. You can see the river. This is the river. This is the Vovchansk river, and the Russian forces previously have claimed to have taken control of almost the entire northern half, everything north of this Vovchansk river. So after that, we have the Ukrainian forces seemingly taking more control over on this salient based on yesterday's report. So this is what it is. And for those that find it really difficult just to follow the video, you can actually also open this map to watch it yourself. And I don't have it open. the Defense Politics Asia website is in the description. You go to defensepoliticsasia.com/Ukraine. You're gonna see this map, and you can actually look at all the information they published. Every single change, every single update is sourced. There's a source for every single piece of information, and based on over 280 days of experience, that filtering out all the people, all the sources that always tend to bullshit, and whatever we have right now is the most reliable ones. So this is the point that I'm trying to make. There's fighting reported at Taike according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. This is very interesting. That the fighting is over here, and the Ukrainian mappers only mapped something like this. And largely all these places are all gray zones. Russian sources previously announced Taike is captured on the 11th of May. That's around 13 days ago already. They're still fighting around this area here. We still do not know the exact situation right now. There is previous geolocation of Russian forces in this region here, which is why the Ukrainian gray area here has been invalidated. But we just continue to monitor and wait and see how this develops over at this Kharkiv front. So that's all for the Kharkiv offensive and the front line. And we go on over to the Kherson front. at the Kherson front, we still have fighting reported at the so-called the left bank, which is actually the southern bank of the Dnipro River, and that's about it. Most likely it's at Krinky, and there is not much update regarding this area here. We move on over to the Zaporizhia front. At the Zaporizhia front, we have no fighting being reported. If there is any, it was reported yesterday already, because we have some 23rd of May reports yesterday as well. Remember, the Russian Defense Ministry report was already published in yesterday's SITREP, so we don't replicate this again. Crimea Caprice geolocated Lancet attack just off Malotomashka. Otherwise, there's nothing else over at the Zaporizhia front. Over at the Velika Novosilka sector of the Donetsk front, we have Russian forces continue their offensive over at Staromaiorske and Uruzhaine. And in particular, the Russian forces have expanded their control over at Staromaiorske, going deeper and probably taking around half of Staromaiorske right now. Ukrainians are still trying to hold the defense. They still hold the bridge, whereas the Russians have this incursion over on this eastern side of this southern part. However, they didn't go far. This is as far as they went. There is a geolocation of a Russian artillery strike on Ukrainian ammo dump. So clearly shows how close the front line is, how close the Ukrainians are. So tentatively, I think the battle is still ongoing. It's not going to be difficult. Interesting to note is that this one over here, the attack is launched by motorcycles. It's very, very interesting. It reminds me of how I played Battlefield long time ago. I would just rush down, and then just infiltrate into the enemy's rear and deep positions, and then just create chaos. But of course, in games I can respawn. In real world, you die. So it is what it is. Yeah, I realize I have been saying it is what it is quite a lot. Over at the Novo-Mikhailivka region, geolocation of Russian forces landing troops over on this tree line shows that the Russians have taken more advanced position over in the southwestern part of Novo-Mikhailivka. So let's continue to monitor this location. Otherwise, there is no other reports. Russian forces are attacking generally in these directions towards Paraskoviyevka, Konstantinivka, and in the southwest of Novo-Mikhailivka. And we move further up on. Yesterday we have already mentioned Georgievka, but there's over the past 24 hours, no mention of Georgievka was done. There is still battle being reported at Krasnohorivka. The battle of Krasnohorivka continues. Ukrainian Defense Ministry, DPA UA, and Ryba all have reported about the fighting over at Krasnohorivka. Generally, the fighting is around this heavy and industrial zone, the refractory plant. So the battle is largely around this area here. So due to the fog of war, there's always this possibility that the Ukrainians may have advanced back certain grounds that we do not know, causing the fighting to be closer to the factory. But generally, we don't know what exactly is happening, other than the confirmation that the Russians have actually expanded westward based on yesterday's report. So that's all for Krasnohorivka. Over at the Avdiivka front, Russian forces are attacking in multiple directions. Umanske, Semenivka, towards Novoselivka, Persia, Novoporovske, Sokil, Novo-Oleksandrivka, north of Ocheretine, as well as towards Kalinove. And in particular, there's big developments over at Umanske. The Russian forces have been geolocated on the western part of northwestern part of Umanske, and based on Russian mapping, they have claimed to have captured all of this northern part of Umanske, which left the Ukrainian with only the southern part of this settlement, which would be disastrous because the Russians can now do pincer or attack from 3 different directions, and this will force a Ukrainian withdrawal from Umanske, resulting in the Russian capture. And we probably might see the Russians declaring the capture in a day or two if they continue to attack. It's important to note that when I make this kind of so-called prediction, this analysis is assuming that the current actions continue. If they decided to do something else, then clearly, my prediction is going to be wrong, or my analysis is going to be invalidated because they just make a different decision. Just like if you now walk into McDonald's, I'm going to say that we are likely to see you buying some McDonald's in the next 5 minutes to 10 minutes time. And if you decided to walk in and just use the toilet and just walk off, then my information, my analysis would be invalidated, but I have good basis to this to analyze why you would enter a McDonald's because you want to eat McDonald's, right? So, but if you enter McDonald's just to use the toilet, I wouldn't have known. So it's important. So this is when we do analysis, just be mindful. Don't be too uptight about it. And in this area here, Russian is very interesting. Russian mapping, according to Russian mapping, there is a salient around here. Based on the RIBA's mapping, they actually even bigger than that. They do not acknowledge the Russians have actually get so close to Novopolotsk, which is a very bizarre thing. So according to the Russian mapping, they say that the Russian forces have advanced in the area of Badaichi and Semenivka. However, we have already way past this change. So I have no idea. It's so weird. Because we already have Russian forces already geolocated at this position, it could be a case where RIBA actually missed certain geolocations, or they do not deem certain geolocations as captures. Whatever it is, the Russians have Russian side, they have actually talked about advancing the line and taking more control of certain places, but it doesn't reflect on our mapping because we have already passed that. Geolocation of Russian airstrike just off Novoselivka, Persia. So very scary. On the Ukrainian side, if you are defenders on the Ukrainian side, you are just getting hammered by airstrikes and all sort of shit so freely. Very disturbing. Russian forces are attacking Novo-Alexandrivka. The battle for Novo-Alexandrivka, totally no news. We have no idea what's currently happening. What we do have is a Russian geolocation of Russian forces showing that the Russians are expanding their control north of Ocheretine. This is mapped by DPA UA. However, based on Russian claims is that the Russians have taken they have already straightened the line between Novo-Alexandrivka and Arkhangelsk. So yeah, there is some kind of parallel universe happening around here. We will continue to monitor how to see how this goes. According to my own source, there is some heavy major assault currently happening at Kalinove. Details is unknown. However, we do have reports from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry about the battles over here. 7 combat clashes was reported, particularly over Kalinove's, Alexandrivka, and Sokil. Not sure how many numbers are being reported around here. So we will definitely continue to monitor, but it's not going to be a fast advance because this is basically a citadel region. This is a heavily defended region. It's going to be very difficult for the Russians to just make any breakthroughs. Nothing over at the New York front. We move into the Bakhmut front. Over the Bakhmut front, the Russian forces are still being reported to be fighting over at Klishchiivka, according to Deep State UA, and Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported fighting at Andriivka. I know some mappings have already acknowledged, they have already changed their mapping based on Russian Defense Ministry's report, claiming that the Russian forces have taken most of Klishchiivka and Andriivka. Based on their report, they just simply draw this. However, that's not DPA's position. According to DPA's position, this is only Russian claim. Until we have a second source, like for example, Deep State UA or RIBA, in their mapping confirming or corroborating this, or the Russian Defense Ministry release a map that shows this, I will not commit to it. So we will just wait for more information for this corroboration and to see when or how long before we have information to corroborate the Russian Defense Ministry's claim. As far as I'm concerned, the 2 towns are still not captured yet. So we move on. There is fighting reported at Novi, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Geolocation of a TOS strike, a thermobaric strike in Novi itself. Clearly, to kill everyone around here. So very scary shit happening around at the Bakhmut front. That's all for the Bakhmut front. Over the Sivers front, because there is no other reports previously, we have already reported from the Russian Defense Ministry about the fighting at Rozdolivka, Vimka. There is Vimka, previously also yesterday reported, but it's on the 22nd. So because of the shortage of the Russian Defense Ministry report, maybe we have a bit lesser. So nothing over at the Sivers front, except for this geolocation north of Bilohorivka. So this geolocation basically is at the border where our front line is. As a result, we caused the front line change around here. So which means that the Ukraine forces actually did some acquiring of some positions and managed to expand their control, but very minimal. So that's all from Bilohorivka. Over at the Crimea front, we have fighting reported at Terny and Torske. So this is the two reports. Both I think it's from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. So, and moving further up north, we have fighting reported. So we have fighting reported at Nevsky, over at Druzhelybivka, as well as Zdoklibove. So this is the three locations the Russians are pushing. Particularly, I'm always very interested to find out what the hell is happening with Gregivka and Druzhelybivka, because to mention fighting around here seems to suggest that the Russians have actually expanded control around Novovodyan region. So we have no idea if that's how the front line have changed. So we'll definitely have to wait and see whether we get any information to corroborate this information. And moving further up north, over at the northern part of the Svetove front, Russian forces have continued their battle for Berestove, and there's still some fighting reported at Stemekivka region. Of course, frontline change over in the northern part, I've already mentioned, in the north of Berestove. So nothing very significant per se. Over at the Kupiansk front, we only have one report about fighting at Ivanivka. So this according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. There's an important thing to note. Despite this report, let me show you. Despite this report about Ivanivka, they say that there's attack in the area of Ivanivka. There is another Ivanivka, which is across the river, over here. There's another Ivanivka here. So there could be a possibility that the Russians are attacking in this direction as well. But I think the other Ivanivka seems to make more sense, because that's where the front line exactly is. So anyway, we will just monitor and see how this develops. And that's about it. So this is the summary for the day of 820 for the 23rd of May. Do press the like button, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next update.